Hailing a taxi is something I do quite often, especially when I need to travel somewhere quickly or when public transport is not convenient. In my city, taxis are everywhere, and I usually stand on the sidewalk and raise my hand to signal the driver. I think this is the most traditional and direct way to catch a taxi, and it is quite effective during busy hours. When I see an empty taxi passing by, I usually make eye contact with the driver and wave my hand. Sometimes, if the traffic is heavy or the weather is bad, it can be a little stressful because taxis are not always easy to find. I remember one time when I was late for an appointment. It was raining heavily and I was standing under a small shelter trying to hail a taxi. Many cars passed by, but only a few stopped because the streets were very crowded. Finally, after waiting for about 10 minutes, a taxi driver noticed me and pulled over. I felt very relieved because I didn't want to be late. During the ride, I noticed that taxi rides can also be a good opportunity to practice English speaking, especially when I speak with drivers who can communicate in English. I usually try to say simple sentences like, "Hello, can you take me to this address, please?" Or, "How long will it take to get there?" This helps me feel more confident in using English in real-life situations. I also use taxi apps sometimes, which is a bit different from hailing a taxi on the street. Using an app is more convenient because I can see the price, the estimated arrival time, and the driver's details. However, I still enjoy hailing taxis in person because it feels more spontaneous, and I can interact with the driver directly. I think both ways are useful, and it depends on the situation. For example, if I'm in a busy area or during rush hour, it might be better to use an app. But if I'm walking on the street and see an empty taxi, I can try my luck and hail it directly. In general, catching a taxi is not just about transportation. It is also part of daily life, and it can be an interesting experience. It teaches you patience, observation skills, and sometimes even communication skills. You learn how to signal properly, how to approach a driver politely, and how to make yourself understood. For me, hailing a taxi is convenient, practical, and sometimes even a little exciting, especially when the weather is nice and I can enjoy the view of the city while waiting for the ride. Overall, I think it is a simple activity, but it reflects a lot about how people move around in a city and how we can interact politely and efficiently with others in everyday life.